All
right, we're live.
Welcome, 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 everyone, to another incredible Two Feathers Medicine show. I'm joined by the great Dale Tobin, the mysterious Laura Massey, and the unique Maddie Waller. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Today we are delving into dragons. Mwahahaha. Maddie, you are being called upon by the dragons. So greetings to everyone. Say greetings, Maddie.
Greetings, everyone. Our friends, our dragon friends. I've been feeling the dragons coming in for a while.
Yeah, they're flying around like birds waiting to take a big turd on someone.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, really. It's a blessing.
Yeah, oh, they just give me a horrible thingy then. The dragon fart.
You got a squishy one.
Yeah, it's horrible. They're such piss takers.
Mm-hmm. We got a dragon that had a little too much beans. Laura, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. I spoke to the dragons of the Great Dreamtime Awakening recently, which was interesting.
Wonderful. And Dale, the mysterious Tobin, how are you doing today?
Hello, my scaled friend. Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. I've just been for a float, so I'm in a nice space to do this show. So all doing really well, thank you, Andrew. Good to be here as well. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello, hello. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are going to be talking dragons. So we have Albert is asking, are there evil dragons? Yes. Are there good dragons? Yes. Are there dragons that just don't give a shit about anything at all? Yes. Okay. Dragons have a level of free will far beyond our comprehension. They perceive free will completely differently than everyone else out there. So we must remember this, that dragons have a unique perception of free will. And us, as the beings live in this density, are very minuscule in our understanding of free will, where many of us are at that beginning journey. Joel, you have your hand up. That is a unique reason. Can someone make him a co-host? I think that's what he needs. Hold on one second. Can someone make Joel the co-host or host?
All done.
That's irony. Did we lose him? This system crash again? No, there he's there. Irony. What's with all the letters in J name today? Did you get it, Joel? Did he get his? Joel,
Yeah,
are you good there?
Yeah,
I'm good to go. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Dragons have a completely different look at free will, as they just interrupted us in the background to go, hey, we're here. Yeah. So Dale, Laura, Maddie, let's delve into some dragon questions.
So the first thing I'd like to discuss is quite a lot when you hear people discussing dragons, what they will say is my dragon. You hear that quite a lot. I'm guilty of saying that as well at the beginning. So, but I know that that's not quite correct. So could you open up on what people's relationships with dragons are, the ones that come very close, that are part of our guides and guardians, and the kind of way we should address them properly?
All right. So dragons go, oh, my human, instead of my dragon. All too often we anthropomorphically project onto something that doesn't very much like it. That is why you must understand the dragon's high level of intelligence on multiple dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes. And when you regularly project, it's your pet, it's your thing to ride, it's your taxi to the universe, they will rapidly leave you in the dust and leave you with a statement that can be confounding and astounding at the same time, because your personal growth must change in such a way for you to no longer project upon them a limitation. Okay. A lot of people do this to their spirit guides too. They expect it to be the immediately get Galactic Google or Chat GPT to give them instant answers to information that you may not be ready for. Just because you can type in a question doesn't mean you'll ever understand the answer. Okay. And as I've said over and over again, what does curiosity learning do? Destroys your bigger ability to learn formally, intentionally, and long term. And you must get out of curiosity learning and the dopamine release that it does. And when dragons see you constantly resorting to curiosity learning, they will whack you with the tail, or they will simply leave and not be present for you anymore. And then you're, where's my dragon? What's going on? Or you fill in the blanks and something hijacks its image.
Can they be bonded to more than one human?
Yes.
Because they're
Let's replace the word bond with acquaintance. Okay. You are acquainted with them through lineage. And if you are able to do your own work on yourself, the acquaintance becomes more when it's time for personal understanding and revelation and actual experiences with them.
But you have used the word bonded like since birth. So
well, everyone has
here?
a dragon bonded with you at birth as part of the fetus in the womb, and the journey from the South Pole infinite perspective into the actual birthing soul. Yes, those are specific dragon types that help us be the medium to the celestial process, but that's not that dragon's only job. It's not just bonded to you. It can have 40, 50, 60,000, 10,000, and it can have crossovers with other dragons because it has a life beyond you.
Would there be soul family connections then? There would be soul family lineage, or would it be the dragon's pure free will choice who it chooses?
It's their free will choice to what lineages they're working with.
So for these dragon spirits, Andrew, so would they reside like the ancestors in the North Pole? The future ones would be in the South Pole. Is that the process for them as well?
So ones in the North Pole are the ancestors of history past, but they're not limited to history past, nor are the dragons of the South Pole. That's just their job as part of the greatest celestial makeup that's this world. Okay. Earth has contracted them to do that specific job. But again, that's not their only job, and they have many hobbies and are able to do many other things beyond just watching over one human being, waiting for it to tap into its self-mastery. And then once it's tapped into its self-mastery, they can still continue to have lives and interact with you simultaneously, doing many other billions of things at once.
Will children be aware of dragons in their
Sure.
field from, yeah.
Sure, but they may not appear as a dragon. A dragon's a shapeshifter too. It can be any shape in any form.
And so for the residual image of a dragon, is that are there many different types of residual image? Like we have the Chinese traditional dragon. Is that the same for
cultural residual image that's based in myth and historical references? Believe it or not, like in European culture, dragons are a relatively new concept. It was griffins and other metamorphs that were there before that. I believe it was 2nd century AD really is where dragons, as part of a greater perception through European perception, the way they look lizardish versus oriental dragons.
Because I remember when I think I've shared this one time before, I had a dream that was on the back of a dragon, and I saw its face, and it's nothing like these, the residual images of what we're shown. It was more like kind of like a elemental goblin type, dwarfy type thing. And it was so different. I can see its face now, but so different than what we see the dragon face to be.
Yeah. So Albert's asking, can they be Nagas? Yes, but not. There are specific Nagas that are technically dragons and Nagas simultaneously. They do two jobs at once. But another understanding of dragons is the residual images, what you connect to as their job as a celestial lineage connector. So if the last handful of lifetimes where you did work with dragons, that's the image you're going to recognize in them. So Dale, the dwarfy energy linear thing is because of the last set of lifetimes you worked with them. That's the images that they took then.
Mine was more like you remember the never-ending story?
Yes.
Remember the white dragon in that's almost looks like a bit like a dog kind of thing. That's quite a lot what I see. More sort of that kind of expression.
They can be that too. They can be any form. So in the dragon revocation, there's a specific line in there that breaks the contracts, vows, and agreements with the myth of dragons. So you can see what dragons are for this lifetime and this lifetime alone, because we are absolutely influenced by the cultural myths in artworks of the histories past.
Funny thing is as well, Andrew, that when I see them, because they've begun to come into my my sessions, into my work, and I'm never able to, I see them and I recognize them for what they are, but I'm never able to, so far, grab an image, like a photo shot, like grab an image and then hold it.
They don't want you to have it.
No, they don't.
Nope.
Yeah.
They don't want you to have it.
What makes them choose a particular lineage?
What makes you choose the good restaurant? The chef?
Discernment.
The salmon, the freshness of the food. Lineages are like what makes you, what restaurants, you want to go to. Everyone's got their local pizza place that they love for 50 straight years. Dragons are the same way. It's what is this lineage going to put out? It's in my flavor style.
Is it a tasty lineage?
No, they put out unique beings that they can work with.
Yeah.
A meat feast pizza.
And you've got to have a bit of a personality about you as well to work with dragons, because they are different.
Sure.
They are different. And it's almost like a dark humor.
Well,
So
they generally transition, the light and dark is not as important to them as it is to us. They're not stuck in that binary expression.
Yes.
Okay.
So going back to the Prime Creator's first dream, say in the first universe, when the dragons were created, were they created in this kind of the sun, the Great Spirit? Was it the dragon energy first?
They were created by the celestial sources who needed specialty beings to oversee the birth and the death process, and then to be celestial managers for the others that were a part of the birth and the death process, which includes soul transference from solar system to solar system, as well as galaxy to galaxy.
Wow. So they were. So this would have been, would most have been beings be eternal then at that point, and then they decided to.
No, they're not eternal. They could generally go 10 to 12, 20 eras of light, and an era of light could be 100 million years. So if they're going 700 million years, is that eternal? No, it isn't. It's just not, but it's a really long time. And then there are others that have a fuse. They're only going to live 3 eras of light. But when they're done with that service of 3 eras of light, they are a free roaming galactic dragon citizen who can go to whatever celestial place they want and make temporary contracts. Kind of like, a planet's going to outsource a couple dragons to come in and shake things up in their world and bring new teachings and perceptions.
So what makes sun dragons or central sun dragons different from celestial dragons?
They have
planetary dragons
ended their time in the AA league of manifestation, and then they want to go into the bigger league of galactic work, solar system to solar system, where they will transfer hundreds, if not thousands, of people from one solar system to another, and they'll be a part of the celestial trade process.
Big on commerce, then it seems like they were created for commerce in a way.
They're there to assist the commerce market. Yes, the celestial commerce. Yeah, that's why they would become solar dragons. That's a greater assistance working at a higher level, though they still have parts of them that work at the lower levels too. But the majority of them work at that higher level as they're beginning the grander journey of galactic transitions, going from one side of the galaxy to other, or to other universes too.
So are the Dreamtime Awakening dragons created for the colloquial now?
What about them?
Are they just created for this dream time awakening? But the whole time has been a dream time awakening, hasn't it? It's not a recent thing.
They live eras of light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for this era of light, I just wonder why.
But they were birthed many eras of light ago, so they would mature for this era of light.
Cool.
Wants to come and work with us now through the Dreamtime Awakening, the Great Dreamtime Awakening.
Sure. In a way to coalesce all the many celestial soul families into one area and begin to work together at a higher level.
So from dragons as an expression, what's in it for them in the Great Dreamtime Awakening?
What's in it from? That's not really a question to give manifestation. Okay. They're not, they don't gain. They're co-creators. Everybody gains.
Everybody gains. Yeah.
Everybody
makes sense.
Gains. Okay. And if everybody gains, there's no competition to that process.
Which would be the point of it, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So Santo's asking, do they have their own unique path of evolution?
Sure, absolutely. And it's intertwined with our path of evolution too. There are many dragons who, when we're done with this, they go off into their next journey because they've been waiting for us for a long time.
They're very patient.
Sure, but they're also trying to, make sure we don't screw up and make it make longer. Okay?
Dragon decided he's going to come and co-create with Earth, or was tasked to do so, and they were coming with the specific teachings. How would that be expressed? How would it be passed on to a population that doesn't really have dragons? Through a teacher, maybe, or a personality,
so
or a
you're
collection
talking
of them.
this world specific or other?
Yes, this world.
They are already connected to each and every one of us individually. And when there's a cultural shift into higher frequencies and higher spirituality, many of those first communications are going to be with something that's been there in your ever-present moments over and over again. And it'll be very similar to your higher spirit, but there'll be a delineation where it's, no, I'm not your higher spirit. I'm your medium to the celestial mind. I'm here to teach you the 1 million letter alphabet. And when you're done learning the grammar lessons of the 1 million letter alphabet, you will have direct connection to the celestial source. That's what it's there to do, to be your grammar teacher, to be your metaphorical language teacher. Okay. And when it fulfills that by teaching, by imparting to you the greater perception of the 1 million letter alphabet, it expands the whole co-creative journey for all species on this world.
So if dragons are our celestial connection to the celestial mind, do dragons have like that on a different side, like beings assisting them and doing that for them, if you get what I mean? Like kind of their guides as well.
Dragons have guides too, yes. And their guides have guides, and their guides have guides, and their guides have guides.
So every time we evolve, they evolve.
Yes, because we're in an equal co-creation process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what do they still, because they created the forms of things across the planet, lands and seas and oceans and so on. So are they still doing that? It wasn't a one and done thing. They still do that with the earth. As the earth changes, they are they're still continuing to weave the land into different shapes and so on. It's
as
not
well
a
as
one and done
as
job.
well as to deposit ores and metals and powerful crystalline resources. Yes. They also help manage the volcanic system in the planet.
How do they talk to the earth?
Just like you and I. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? What's your digits? What do you want to go out and dance tonight? Yeah.
She spoke to me tonight, which is interesting when you said that, because I actually had a conversation with her tonight. She was lovely.
Just like us. They can function with the celestial minds. That's why they've been contracted. They come here and work with the celestial minds' children and to teach them the grammar class. Therefore, they must be able to fully communicate with the celestial mind. And they do, because many dragons are on the journey to become celestial teachers themselves. They will become a planet.
They're inner Earth. Well, they're inner Earth dragons too.
Okay, dragons with a different purpose.
Okay.
To be more resilient information teachers to higher density beings in the manifest.
So would you have them showing up on some of the light ships and the ships and things as well? Would they maybe manifest a body and then go on to the councils and speak on the ships?
Sure. Some of them are the light ships.
Really?
Yeah. Many of them are the light ships.
So it's interesting because I know the light ships take a consciousness decides to be them. It's like the ultimate form of artificial intelligence in a way, because it's non-artificial. But I never pondered the thought of putting a dragon into one of those ships.
It happens frequently.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just want to travel like everyone else and see what it's like inside there. They want to, break bread with people, laugh and have fun, even if it's at the lower density level.
Mm.
They get to make unique relationships that, a few thousand years later might turn into something very unique.
Yeah.
Well, in my dream, you were serving beers to dragons over the bar.
I'm a dragon bartender.
Yes.
Just breaking up dragon fights. Stop, lads, stop. Come on.
We're going to go outside. Don't destroy the bar again.
Ding a ding ding ding. Right, you lot out.
Put your tail down.
So when you say
we got a troll in the chat.
Yes.
I knew he was going to do it. He just had that negative name about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. The irony. It's like they come in. Why doesn't my voice go? Like, why can't I immediately speak? Because we know you're a fucking troll.
You're a narcissist.
You're a narcissist.
You are a narcissist.
Yes. Yeah. So they just got dragon stomped.
Yeah. Let's send the boys out.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, what is the next question that you want to have?
So when you're saying they can be used as consciousness vehicles, so do you mean by as in an energetic being would go into, say, the heart or an area of the dragon, and there'd be quite a few of them in there and be protected by the dragon itself?
It can be that way, or the dragon can turn into light that's solidified that can look like anything they want it to look like.
It's quite surreal and ethereal sometimes as well, because I've experienced it, and it's almost just like your body's not there, but you're just flying through space with them.
Mm-hmm.
Very ethereal and dreamlike.
Yes, very, very, very dreamlike. Yes.
So Santa, go on.
Go ahead. No, go on with the question.
Okay, Santo's asking, do the negative forces of domination and control have their own group of dragons they work with, i.e.
Yes.
Is dragon energy a generic energy source?
Yes, they have their own source. Yes.
We discussed this on the other show, didn't we? That they have their different expressions that way because they have the free will to choose where they work.
Yes.
And they'll still be connected to a celestial source, even at that level. Or that expression.
And Ryan's asking, do dragons have pineal glands?
No, they don't need it.
And a question about dragon eggs, Andrew. So when you say about the dragon eggs dotted around, so does this mean that the Earth's a galactic seed planet? Does this mean the Earth's dreaming and creating these dragons from the egg? Is it kind of a manifestation through the Earth as the seed?
So that they can go and populate other fresh Akashic record worlds that have a celestial soul in it, who needs their beings being birthed on the surface to learn the celestial alphabet, so they can have regular and informal communications direct with the celestial source. It's just ingrained into the fabric of the universe. So they are creating, the Earth is creating excess dragons because of its original purpose to be a seed planet.
So
Is
if
there-
you're sorry.
So Santa, is there such thing as dragon language? Yes. Draconic. Is it a light language? Yes. Have I spoke dragon language? Yes. Have other people that have come on and shared their light language spoke with dragon language? Yes. It's a specific tone and enunciation, but it's also blended with thousands of others. Dragons are the language teachers. So naturally, they're going to put their little imprint of accent into the various cultures.
Do you want to say that in dragon language?
Hahushtika tastite tismiko hush tita tita de tu tish wita taktaka tush.
Shall we try some dragon language?
A little later. Let's keep going with the questions. That's what
Okay.
everybody really wants here.
Yeah.
Do dragons have ethics of conduct? Yes. Very different than our perceptions, though. They're not bound to the duality of binary systems.
Is there accounts of dragons manifesting in our reality and it being covered up throughout
Absolutely.
our time? Yeah.
Absolutely. Can I show where the cover-ups are? Well, it was covered up. And they're pretty good at covering it up.
And how would it come into this reality? Would there be a meaning for it to come in here? Or would it be kind of like, oh, fuck, by mistake, tuned in the wrong TV channel?
It depends on the type of imprint that it wants to make with its manifestation. Yeah, it is going to be aware that humanity, if it's going to observe it, like, what the fuck is that? Brain does not compute. Therefore, it may want to manifest as something that brain can compute somewhat. Like a dog looking up and trying to understand stuff, to understand the universe.
Andrew, if somebody's reached a level of self-mastery of working and co-creating with dragons, do they have the frequency or the energy to help those dragon eggs be birthed? Or is that forced, like a forced dragon evolution to do that?
All right, ask the question again.
So if somebody's of the ability, self-mastery level, that they've been working with dragons a while, do they have the frequency, and is it appropriate to communicate with the dragon eggs so that they birth at this time of the Great Awakening?
No, the dragon eggs are communicating with the humans to wake them up. The other way around.
Kind of when I look into it, it kind of looks like they are seeded and ready. So when the planet becomes a galactic seed planet again, then the dragons will hatch and then the commerce can begin.
Right. You got it. You got it. But when the dragon is in the egg, it's still doing other things. It's not limited to the egg. It's just saying the egg has a specific, when the egg does hatch, that means Earth has reached a point where it needs wherever they're doing on the other realms to convert and transmute to here.
So it's having fetus in the womb experiences just like we do in the egg.
Perpetual fetus in the womb energy.
It's so difficult to discuss dragons because they're so vast. It's so difficult to put into English
compared to where we are now.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have these regular open discussions about them, where would we be? They're still part of the lizard. They're still part of the lizard community.
Yeah, in myth, breathing fire and torching villages.
Exactly.
Yeah, fighting St. George.
Exactly.
Is that just pure make believe, the St. George story, or is it based on an actual occasion, something that actually happened? Is it more symbolic?
It's more symbolic.
Yeah.
So dragons are not fallen angels. They're celestial spawn beings born with a specific purpose to teach human beings the celestial communication process. And unfortunately, Joni, you have a lot of myths that have absolute lies in them. And you begin to unravel that when you begin to work with a dragon energy that doesn't have the myths from the other realities influencing you, when you get to see the dragon truly for what it is.
Light work and perception of dragons is very skewed.
Yeah. As well as our history is very skewed of them too.
Yeah.
And it's done on purpose.
Patty's asking, what is their message to us?
What is their message to us? It's individual to each of you.
Many. Yeah. Many.
Stand up, step up, be sovereign, figure out what your free will means to you, get out of your own way, stop shitting on yourself, stop beating yourself up, learn to love yourself more, all the self-mastery stuff. They don't really want to work with you unless you're on the self-mastery journey. And anything they're sending to you before you're on the self-mastery journey is to get your ass on the self-mastery journey. And if you ignore the self-mastery journey long enough, they just put up a TV program that has dragon porn going by every now and then to remind you to do self-mastery. Okay, a dragon. I'm like this, flying through the sky.
Yeah, that's it.
You could be on my back, you know. Got to be self-mastered if you want that to happen.
Yeah. So I had the pleasure of having dragon Reiki. It was one of the most incredible experiences. It was one of the first times I actually had real dragon energy come into the room and not be, as you said, ethereal or almost higher selfish. It actually presented itself and it said, "Would you like dragon Reiki?" And I was in the bath and I felt this big hands on my back. And yeah, it was. I think it was a joke actually when they said Reiki. It was some form of a connection, but you know, they certainly do have a more tender side to them if you get on their good side.
They could be tricksters also.
Yeah.
Tricking you into awakenedness.
Yeah.
Okay. Tricking you in the absolute tricksters.
Yeah.
But generally their trickery has 10D chess moves behind it that you can barely begin to perceive that they're giving you a set of options that are so limited that they know what option you're going to take.
And do these dragons have a say, like we would? Are they able to get through each central sun to the next universe? Or do they have like the passport where they can go through?
Well, galactic dragons have the universal passport. Not all dragons have universal passports. Some have universal passports and they forgot where they are. They lose their keys just like we do metaphorically. Okay. Their codes and their keys. Where did I leave it? What lineage would I leave it in? Fuck. Yeah, I think 3 million years. Has been 3 million years since I've had those keys.
And so for the sizing as well, I remember before you said, Andrew, that at one point in time we looked up and there was dragons, humongous dragons. So is it just a variation of sizes which they choose to manifest? So, you know, you get the smaller dragons, the bigger ones, or is it just the age and experience?
They have complete control over the perception of their hologram. Okay. They could be giant, but weigh the size of but the weight of an ounce. Okay. They have complete holographic control and the perceptions of their holographic, meaning if 500 things are viewing it, there are 500 different perceptions that it wants each individual to have. So somebody is asking the dragons. Hold on a second. According to Rudolf Steiner, Archangel Michael, I don't believe in any of that stuff, and I'm not going to disparage it. I'm simply going to say that is myth that distorts the realities. And Joni, I'm going to say the same thing. Myth has distorted the realities of actualities. Dragon relationships to our DNA have their own universe. Yes, they have their own unique version of DNA, but it's no longer in arranged clusters like we have. their DNA begins on the 6th or 7th dimension. That density with dimension. Unfortunately, a lot of our ancient histories that deal with dragons are complete falsehoods. Complete and total falsehoods. And that's part of the harsh part about presenting dragons. Like when I was first asked to do it by the dragons, I'm like, well, where do I start? And they're like, figure it out. Figure it out. Open it up to questions, connect to the Akashic Records, go through the translation from the million letter celestial alphabet down to the English alphabet. It was hard. It was really, 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 really hard. It's days, if not weeks of ceremony to prepare for the first dragon show that I did in 2014. There's a reason I only did 3. So that goddamn hard. Doing shows like this now is different because I had 3 powerful, unique experiences that showed me the way to do it and to bring the best possible way that people can see the infinite perceptions that dragons work with. They work in infinite potentials. They are not finite potentials. And as long as humanity keeps projecting finite potentials on them, we'll never truly understand their greater purpose.
And that's what a lot of people have, don't they, when they have that perception of dragons? Is for a lot of people, there's a hierarchy, much like the angelics, of them seeing them in some hierarchy, bigger force than us. But it's about us completely disentangling from that and seeing them as equals.
Yeah. Part of the self-mastery journey is to learn equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchal order, and to emanate that as your truth. And when you're able to emanate non-hierarchical order and equal co-creation, you'll have a vast, stronger understanding of how the universal system works, especially with what the dragons and the many other beings that are at service to the universal system is. Next question.
I guess that I was going to say the imprinting that's been on our psyche for the myth dragon has been so intense over so many years because the power we could, or the potency we could have once we're in equal co-creation with the dragon.
Correct. And once you're in that potent space of equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, you have transcended humanity's masterful limitations that keep you out of that emanation space.
So Amy's asking, how do dragons attract each other to keep their lineage going? Do they have pheromones? Yeah. And do they cross lineages, or is it one lineage?
Yes. So let's just say there is a dating system dragons have, that the planet kind of is like the matchmaker for them, though they can choose many free will. And also, dragons are not monogamous because they're multidimensional, multifunctional beings. They can have many mates on many dimensions, many time streams, and be able to spread eggs everywhere. That's part of their greater purpose. So let's just say Earth is the matchmaker. It's not like Galactic Google for Galactic Tinder, but Earth's the matchmaker, saying the two of you getting together could do this, but at the same time, I'm going to give you 7,000 other things that all of you can connect with that are different versions, different things, different places.
So would the Earth set up synchronicities for dragons? Like we have co-creation of synchronicities with the Earth?
From which perspective are you saying? Who sets up synchronicities for dragons, or do we do the dragons set it up for us?
For dragons. No,
okay,
does the Earth set it up for dragons?
That's being set up at the celestial level.
Right.
Can I ask a question about Genghis Khan?
Sure.
So history has told us he's they slaughtered so many people. Is that true? That mass slaughtering happened?
Yes. Yes. You have to understand the armies then worked off of fear. And when they were slaughtering people at the end, even if there's only a handful of people watching, it was harvested fear energy that could be projected to the next battle. a phantasmal force that could kill minds, cripple minds.
And does this connect to when you say dragons can take over the universe?
Sure.
Yeah.
But they don't take over the universe, because the universe has given them a very unique job in the very fundamentals and fabric of it. And they understand that part of the great cycle of oneness, without dragons, there is no oneness, and without oneness, there is no dragons. So they're already a part of the universal makeup. They're incorporated into it. And that's what the universal source did on purpose, so that equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order can be the way the universe works.
Joe, oh, the meeting's locked, is it? Because somebody's trying to get in.
I don't see anybody waiting to come in.
Sean Hessman says he is.
Do you want to try it again? Because it's unlocked now.
To come back in.
Okay,
Galactic
I'll
Space
tell
Camp.
him to try again.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there's people waiting now. Yep. Next question. Oh, wait, Santo, can you give a broader description of what it means for someone to say, someone says, you have dragon energy?
Question.
Broader description of what a dragon energy is. Potential. And how do we define unique potential in a being mired in mediocrity? There's something about them. There's something in the pheromonic scent, extra presences in the background that remind you that this is definitely more than my state of perception can understand at this moment. It's a better way I can describe, because it's a change in the infinite potentials when somebody has a dragon energy into them, even if they're not activating it. It can just change an environment simply because it's present in them.
So would it mean that they have been a dragon, or worked with dragons, or a whole different mixture of all of them? When you say dragon energies, does it mean there's dragons working with them?
They could have left a mark on the human, or there's an actual dragon DNA inside them. It just means that person's presence changes the mathematic formula for infinite potentials being there.
Yeah.
Fallen angels have nothing to do with this. And unfortunately, those people coming from that perception about fallen angels, my cosmology does not include them the way you believe. Angels function on a completely different level, and the biblical forced belief of them is going to eventually have a new truth come through, as the angelic forces are going to be able to, for you, define what their roles are.
So the role of the black dragons, is that pretty much the same as the white dragons? Then do they have a different role, and what would that be?
It's not role; it's what they produce on the surface. White dragons have a more, they'll function with, like, if they sleep in a mountain, they'll leave aquamarine and many other crystals related to aquamarine, but not just aquamarine. Or a black dragon might be a coal creator or work with the oils. And each dragon leaves a mineral as a resource for future human beings. And that's really what the colors mean.
Incredible.
That doesn't define good, bad, neutral, or evil. That's what we project on them. The actual resources that we need to survive on, they can, just by sleeping in the area, influence that area to grow those things. So yes, Ryan, they are an energetic transmutation process. Yes. On a wide scale.
In myth, they still show that, don't they? They showed dragons always around gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the dragons were the producers of the gold.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Joel, could you open the room for Sean? He wasn't able to get in.
It might be his link.
Yeah.
It we're saying that the meeting's locked at the moment.
There's no one in the room.
Oh, he says
Have him
no one
close
in
his
the
browser
room.
and reopen
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Joni,
Okay.
do the dragons have anything to do with solar flares?
Mm. Have you ever been on a roller coaster?
Mhm.
Solar flares are dragons roller coasters. That's where they can go and parachute and have some unique fun. Are they the activators of them? No. That's the sun's job. But they are quite aware of how space weather works and how it affects other worlds. And again, it can be a powerful experience for a dragon's adrenaline rush to be a part of the explosion and how their life force is being shot through the electromagnetic spectrum at such a high speed.
Wow.
So they're like, dragon base jumpers.
Wow.
It's their adrenaline rush. Next question.
And so a question would be, and this is connected to Scotland as well, would there be any areas around Scotland which are have high dragon activity, Andrew?
Right, say that again.
Just a question connecting to Scotland, would there be any areas in Scotland with high dragon energy activity?
Actually, all of the British Isles.
Okay.
And to say Scotland or Ireland or anyone is more than the other, they're everywhere. Wherever there is an ancient grove of trees, there's a dragon eggs.
Places like Dartmoor.
Is that anything to do with the amount of crystalline in the rock?
Yes.
Because I remember when I asked that question about Scotland, thinking it was just Scotland who had that granite, and you said no, London does. In fact, it's all over the UK.
Yeah. Yes.
So they deposit or they create crystalline, the dragons, the elemental dragons.
Well, they're part of the process that transmutes the local environment to have that stuff there.
And say you said about the dragon eggs, Andrew, under trees, is it usually that's the case they're under trees, or is there many different areas the dragon eggs are? Why is the dragon egg, a lot of them under trees? What's a specific reason behind that?
The trees are nurture it, become friends with it, teach it about the surface world, how to be ancestral teachers and ancestral relationships. Many dragon eggs are deep in the underwater oceans too. They're in the caves in the middle of nowhere, etc. They permeate the allness of this place, because there's going to come a point where it won't be 9, 10, 12 billion living beings on the surface. There'll be 2 trillion. And you're going to need a lot of dragons for 2 trillion living beings on the surface, aren't you?
So as we kind of get closer to the event, in the way of the solar flares are changing throughout the years, would this start kind of rumbling the dragon energy and the eggs and everything? Is it kind of like a time where we'll start to see a lot more manifest in our dreams and so on?
I don't want to get people's hopes up that they're going to see dragons in their dreams, because dragons are going to appear the way that they want themselves to appear, so they don't create fear in the individual and people. But as things begin to accelerate and the human evolution can no longer be at a snail's pace, perceptions will change.
And let's talk about sun dragons and a bit more about the solar dragons and their could you explain a little bit more about the solar dragons and the difference between a kind of a regular dragon to a solar dragon?
A solar dragon is somebody who's operating no longer on a planet itself. It's operating on a sun that services many planets. And let's say planet A needs thinkers and mathematicians and planet needs warriors and healers, the sun will then act as a open galactic marketplace to attract those people, and the dragons will go get those people from wherever they're at, kind of like a massive Amtrak rail network through all the solar systems and galaxies, and bring them to the solar system that they need to be. So there are a lot logistics process also between all the many suns working together to get souls to the perfect matched experience for them. Now, dragons on a regular planet can transmute and transform into other dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes for specific and unique teaching purposes. But do they aspire to be solar dragons? Some do. It's part of their scaled evolution to eventually become a planet. You can see dragons as, on-the-job training of what it takes to be a planet, a celestial being. And so, and sun dragons are on the path to becoming suns themselves.
So when a sun forms itself and a group of soul family come together to form a sun in a galaxy, would it be in agreement with a regular dragon who wants to then go into the next layer of responsibility then?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The planets in our solar system, ex-dragons.
Say that again. I missed the first part of what you're saying.
Are any of the planets in our solar system dragons who had been dragons previously?
Yeah, technically everything's been a dragon before it became a planet.
Right. It's part of the learning journey. You have to do it.
It's part of the infrastructure of evolution and growth.
Mm.
But there are things that are not dragons that do the same thing on other places and spaces. You just don't call them dragons.
Mm.
They call them angels or angelic beings or something else.
So like when say an I am presence technology to a celestial technology, say if you an I am presence being, could you go on to that different level of responsibility as a dragon from an I am? Can you kind of switch into the dragon to experience it? Is that what you're saying? That all the sons have been dragons at some point?
Dragons no longer have I am technology. They've far evolved beyond that.
So what would the limitation of I am technology be to a dragon?
It is its limitation. I amness is a limitation.
Right.
To it, through its perception on the journey of evolution of light that it's gone. I am presence is to experience the ever-present moments of now, not eternally now.
Mm.
I am presence is
how
training
we all
wheels,
chose.
I am presence is consciousness training wheels. How to be potent and powerful consciousnesses.
Sense. Do they involve themselves in space wars?
Yes. Yes, they do. I'm not giving you any more.
I felt it. Any more questions, guys?
And so for the roles of like, say, psychic surgery within the dragon community, what's some of the layers that they can do as, obviously it's quite hard to explain, but what are some of the layers they can do as setting up healing chambers?
It's unlimited, absolutely unlimited what they can do. It's all about is the receiver of the healing going to block it because of lack of understanding. And humans do this all the time. Dragons come in with the most potent and powerful healing energy, and you put up your cock block to the healing energy. No, I'm staying traumatized. No, I don't want to do self-mastery today or tomorrow, this week or next week. I'm lazy motherfucker.
So for dragons, and so I remember you saying on a lot of other shows that dragons, there's a lot of horses who are dragon spirits. What is the reasoning behind going into that type of technology? Is there a specific reason why there's a lot of dragon spirits as horses?
Well, humans and horses are completely intertwined as a species. And the negative cursing magics would lock humans into horses and horses into humans to absorb negative karmas created by oligarchs. And then oligarchs figured out how to trap humans, dragons into humans, and eventually into horses to keep a dragon energy within a family crest, which would then incarnate a dragon hybrid being, such as Charlemagne.
Which was what like Bruce Lee would have been.
Yes.
And what would be the reason why them capturing the dragon to be in the lineage? Is there a specific reason? Is it the pheromone, or what would be the reason behind that?
It's because if it's trapped in the lineage, that means somebody's going to be born with dragon traits within them. And if they know that it's going to regularly incarnate in the lineage, they can figure out who it's going to be even before you're born and manipulate them.
Is this why you would see quite a lot of dragon energy with it, or dragon beings within the entertainment industry?
Yes, but there are very few dragons in the entertainment industry now.
Right.
And is that the reason why these, say, dragon teachers, say like Elvis Presley or Bruce Lee, that dragon pheromone and that celestial energy, is that what so many people are attracted to, that pheromone of the celestial?
As well as the raw creativity that they create that changes a moment of now because of their raw creativity. High frequency creativity combined with the dragon charisma. Yes.
Sean's asked the question, can a dragon hybrid break through the great forgetting? And I think,
Yes.
because I think Bruce Lee would be a great example of that, because he could actually bend space and time.
Well,
It's
the thing is,
incredible.
the great forgetting is compounded by many other great forgettings. So a dragon has a capacity, let's say, to remember 1% of their past lives when they're born. 1% of their past lives means they'll never make mistakes on girlfriends or investments or crypto or any of that other stuff. Okay, imagine what they can do with 5 or 10% of their past life choices in awareness to them.
Which reminds me of the Queen when you talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oops.
So for these human, say, dragon lineage, say we talk about Bruce Lee, Shannon Lee, and Brandon Lee. So has there been lots of dragon lineages humans before, but majority of them have been taken out by the system?
Sorry, I was switching devices. I missed what you said.
So say like so Bruce Lee lineage is dragon lineage with Shannon Lee, Brandon Lee. So at one point in time, was there more dragon lineage families who were incarnating all the DNA memories and skin suits as dragon beings? Was there lots more of that before, and did they get taken out by the system?
Yes, because they didn't want those memories in collective mind culture. That's why they started rapidly eliminating, trapping, or destroying dragons inside lineages. They didn't want anyone having access to that wisdom but themselves.
So the dragons that are incarnated as humans today, were they all trapped, or was some of it by choice?
Many volunteered to be trapped, knowing full well that you could never really trap it unless it's other dragon sources from other places who have turned to the darkness to intentionally trap and enslave other younger dragons.
Would that be, presented like the triads?
Yes, something like the triads, yes.
Yeah. And so
Santo's asking, what's the relationship of a dragon energy to the current British monarchy?
Nothing. They left a long time ago. The British monarchy is living off the laurels of the past. They're absolutely hollow compared to what they were 300 years ago.
I think the departure of Elizabeth recently was a big marker in that as well.
Yes,
because I don't think Charles has the ability to remember as much as she did.
That would explain why I always dream of the Queen as being made of cardboard then.
She never had the real power, nor did she have any power to control anything. It was her ministers and exchequer courts that controlled everything.
But was that the same as calling it the crown?
Well, the crown's a terminology of domination that
Mm.
you would acquiesce to.
hmm
And was it
So it's
Prince Charles?
the crown is propaganda, celestial propaganda.
Whereas it represents whatever they're trying to express.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is Prince Charles like not an I am? It's just programs.
No, he's a real human being.
Okay, I swear I heard it on one of the shows before, but I might have been dreaming that.
Well, he's a real human being with a real I am, but he's absolutely manipulated by the other lizards.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's a lizard. And I'm going to catch flack for that, but I'm going to stick with my cosmology that I've said for well over a decade.
It's
They're
funny
not
how
all
the-
lizards. It's not all baby raping lizard wizards. They don't dominate and run the whole world. They just make you think that.
That's it. And there's always that perception of lizards being bad, but there are good ones out there, really good
Sure,
ones.
plenty of good lizards out there.
David Icke doing that.
In the Native American culture here, lizard represents represents the dreamer, the great dreamer.
How do the dragons keep the global Dreamtime event and Galactic Ascension machine on schedule or on track? From Sean Harriman.
By making sure you don't give up on self-mastery.
They come and kick you in the butt now and again, or as you say, dry
Or
hump
throw
you.
some karmas at you that you must evolve through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always on your case, aren't they, dragons?
Feed you with loads of energy and say, now deal with that. Well, that's my experience anyway.
Yes, they'll come and dry hump you for a while, and here's a whole bunch of energy. What are you going to do with it?
Yep.
And I don't work on Roman numeral time, bitch.
Exactly.
Motherfucker, fuck you.
I saw one in a session recently where I was cleaning out some dream worlds, and a dragon came in and started to do the cleanup, and it left, as it cleaned up, it just left all its mess and then just went to fly away. And so I gathered up the mess and I slung it and I threw it back at it as it was leaving. And as soon as I'd done it, I thought, oh, what have I done? And then the dragon turned around, and as it was about to hit it, it just dissolved and it kind of winked at me and then flew off. But for a minute, I was really scared. It was just an act of impulse.
Coming to Genghis Khan, yeah.
They seem to like it though. You know, they like a bit of bravery.
They do like bravery. That means you're exercising free will at a higher level.
Yeah.
You're not chicken enough to throw the dragon shit back at him. I'll just clean up after you. Don't worry. I'll be a 50s housewife.
Yeah,
Hail.
Exactly.
They do have a sense of humor then.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Or trickery.
Trickery. Okay. Yeah.
Humorous trickery that makes them laugh for centuries at a time.
But they can keep a straight face while they're doing it.
Sure.
Yeah. How can I invite a dragon to visit me?
Dragon revocation. It's on it's printed everywhere all over the internet. Do dragons work with the different generations coming in differently? Zoomers, yes, that's what they're here for, to influence each generation to find self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery, so that each generation has a foundational group of people that don't forget self-mastery as the greatest journey to their spiritual awakening and to the great remembering. Was dragon energy intertwined during the founding period of the US? Absolutely it was. You were defeating the oligarchies and monopolies of Europe that were dominating human beings at a level. You needed dragon energy in individual people to create the new place here, as well as to dominate the existing indigenous cultures here too. Marissa, are they architects' reality on the elemental level? Yes, absolutely. They create the elements.
Yeah, we spoke
And
about that
sometimes
in
they
the
are
last show.
elements. Yeah. So I want to turn the tides for a second. Who here thinks they could do an hour and 3 minutes of nonstop dragon question after dragon question after dragon question? I must have taken what, 50 questions, 40 questions in an hour and 6 minutes? How hard do you think this is?
Pretty hard, because you're trying to
Yeah.
distill it as well. You're not just taking the questions that we're trying to come up with greater and greater questions, while you're trying to distill the answers.
Is there a delay in my answers to you? Very little.
In fact, we can't keep up with you.
Yeah. So I want to turn it to everyone else. Could you do what I'm doing? The answer is yes. It requires self-mastery. Okay. Without Dale, Laura, and Maddie, could I do this? Yes. But it makes it a lot easier. Okay. Without you guys here, I've already answered all my dragon questions years ago. So it's a joy for me to answer these questions. And in this joyous state, it makes it a lot simpler to process the nature of the question and tailor the answers back specifically to the person asking it.
And
Okay?
hopefully it's a bit more fun for you too.
Yeah. How many people out in the light worker community can match what I'm doing? Not that I'm being competitional. None.
Archangel Michael, Archangel Steve.
None.
It's none.
And I'll tell you why. Because they haven't gone what I went through. And they can go through what I went through their way. But their particular journey has a specific outcome for the souls that they're working with. I came in with this contract to help reveal dragons at their truth source, not the other truth sources that others are working with, who are working through the different myths and histories of humanity that have ill-defined dragons or pigeonholed them into a type of description.
Yes, I mean the very concept of soul commerce was one of the first things that grabbed me. None of the lightworker community were talking about the actual mechanics behind souls, how they move around, how they evolve, how they come together. And, when I heard that from you, and then everything fitted into that concept, the timeline genocide, dragons, everything fits into that expression of soul commerce and how it functioned. And that was one of the most unique things that really got me at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything comes down to the soul commerce market. And this world is abusing the soul commerce market as a farm. It's not releasing graduating cows, okay? Metaphorically, okay? It's holding down to all the cows.
Do you get many dragon spirits coming to you, Andrew, and wanting a reading? The Akashic Record reading?
Do I get them? Do I get them inside a human? Yes.
Or just
do I get them individually coming for a reading? Yes, I do. Yes. And what's a reading like with them? I mean, there's no physical being, but I can perceive and receive and understand who they are. It's to challenge them at how fast I can think and respond. To them, that's their miracle, their universal. What the fuck? The mysteries of the universes are in humans. It's absolutely. And one of the universal mysteries within me is to speed at which I can function. So yeah, I'll give them answers that make them 100 years to think about. Because if they can solve the problem in 5 minutes, they wouldn't come to me. Okay. Do dragons have issues like humans? Not technically, but we can create an association. Like, yeah, you had 2 bad relationships over the last 1,000,000 years, and you're not sure if you want to get involved with that other lady dragon. Or have you chosen too many, chimeric beings, and it's time to stop choosing chimeric beings?
I don't think you'll get.
What do you really want to get out of love?
I don't think you'll get many dragons asking for their purpose, Andrew.
Yeah, they do. They do.
You do, yes. That's
They've
a t-shirt
completed
right
all their
there.
they've completed all their other purposes. Yeah, they've completed all their purposes, or thousands and millions, and they want to know what's the next one. I can't think of it right now. I've done too many. And poof, okay, here's another purpose. You like it or you not? And they go and try it. And then they come back for another and another and another. So I'll give them a list of 10,000 purposes. Because you're not one purpose.
They pay you.
Do they pay me? Yes.
How do they?
Galactic PayPal.
Galactic adult toys.
Yes, I have an etheric scheduler too. They repay me in they repay me in potentials. Infinite potentials and presence. Because they know once I'm around an infinite potential, I can expand the infinite potential infinitely. And as can each and every one of you. You just got to learn how to do it.
It's a personal question, Andrew. I recently have been experimenting with setting up commerce for myself, and I'm not sure what to take as payment. So if you're working with other beings and they're taking something and you're charging them for it, what do you actually ask for back? What is the because I was thinking life force, inspiration,
creation, inspiration, dreams, infinite potentials.
Yes.
A rain check on a day where you're mentally challenged and tough, that they come back in and inspire you. New experiences when you're reaching that level where just things aren't going right for you, and they spontaneously appear with a payment for thanking you for doing what you did to them 5 years ago, because they're a part of the infinite potential process. Do they get bored? Yes. A bored dragon is the worst thing to have. I reiterate, a bored dragon is the worst thing to happen, because shit's going to happen. So it doesn't get bored.
What, like volcanoes erupting, things like that.
Arab Spring. Remember the Arab Spring in 2011? That was very much dragon influenced, bored dragons.
Cause some mayhem.
Fucking up the global narrative. Hardcore.
Because you said all along that was an unpredicted event. That was a spontaneous, natural event.
It was, because dragons are part of the spontaneous natural process.
Yes. In much the same way that one person.
They got bored. And when they got bored, they said, guess what? Let's have a revolution. See what happens.
So how can we entertain them then, Ryan's asking?
We are their entertainment. So Santos, a bored dragon can create the ultimate unpredictable event. A group of bored dragons can create the ultimate unpredictable event. One singular dragon as the ultimate unpredictable event, they're going to recruit others because they're better when they work together. So they're part of the bored dragon club. Do the bored dragons have board meetings? Yes. and investor relations into what they're going to do? Yes. And venture capitalists from other celestial sources to create unpredictable events? Yes. Do bored dragons have law firms? Yes. So a bored dragon creates timeline manipulation in their own version of curiosity learning? No, they're beyond curiosity learning. They know exactly what they're doing to break their boredom by creating a timeline that will be disruptive to the systems of domination and control here, who are frenetic about keeping their timelines pristine and perfect. Is Earth is sometimes a place to board your bored dragons? No. They come here as like vacation if they're not born here already. So they come to vacation here. Kind of like heading down to Florida or Hawaii or Greece or Europe, wherever. They're on vacation.
So Andrew, this is a funny thing to say, but I've been having some people speaking over me the whole way we've been doing this, and I've got a collective that would like to ask a question.
Sure.
But they want to do it in light language.
Okay. Do they want me to answer back in light language or English?
Light language.
Okay. Shahuhi yakuka mahita yatoku shinatasha wato nish ukakich tidich toku kushna hashto tite shamanina kashanuka kashanika tacho bush ushminitatish da hokashuto.
Wanga waha.
Sato yoko tash ni de wokoshi salamuntiga.
Cool. Thank you. That was pestering me. That was pestering me.
They used to pester me too. And I just became the bartender, as like Laura said. Just became one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They all put their pheromone on me, like it's walking like a dog walking up and spraying a hydrant.
Have a piss on
They
your
peed
leg.
on me and marked the territory. But it was a whole collective that peed on me. Okay. That's how I became the bartender. And heard all their tales of woe over many millions of years. Heard from their drunken stories.
Well, you either get peed on or dry humped.
I've been peed on and dry humped simultaneously. Eh? Shake that shit off. Stop it. Down. I'm gonna roll up a newspaper and whack you on the nose. All right. Shall we take calls?
Yes.
All right. I am not in charge of calls anymore. You are.
Okay. Okay,
So,
come on, guys.
if you'd like to come
want
on,
to come on and
then
ask
raise
a
your
question,
hand.
well done, Hillary. You're the first on with your hand up. So you can unmute, or can we unmute Hillary?
Yep.
And if you want to come on your video, there she is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Hillary. How you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you.
You're welcome. What did you think of today's show so far?
Wow, I was delighted to receive the email or see on the posts from you all that you're sharing, and I was excited about this topic. Part of me wants to say I don't know very much, and part of me knows a whole lot, and so it was fun to hear you all speaking in details that feel new to me at some level. So I appreciate the things that you shared. It helps me, it honors me and validates me, and it's fun. It just feels fun. And I like the humor aspect of it too.
Well, I always throw the humor in. I have to.
That's very
It's innate in
important.
me. It's innate in me.
Yeah, you're quite the trickster.
Too many light workers are so serious that, it's almost painful in their seriousness.
Yeah, I've definitely been that. I've been the serious light worker, I'm good at that. So I'm bringing in more humor, more laughter.
there anything
I
that
don't
you
have
want to
a-
ask? No. Okay.
I don't even know what it would. It's like I'm not sure what I would even ask. Oh, I guess so. I'm within the Chinese zodiac. I was born in 1976, which is the year of the fire dragon, and to me, that's the most eccentric of the dragons when you're looking at the 60-year cycle of 5 different elements. And so I think that's part of why I've felt a special connection with dragons. I don't know if you recall, Andrew, when there was one of your shows in the past 2 years, and this is when Robert was assisting you, and you did a dragon show with Martina, and we did a dragon prayer, and I was able to, share my experience with the dragon prayer. And I had this, I often have a desire to breathe fire. Just that sensation, if I imagine it, I would feel so good to me. There's something about that. And so I've been reflecting on that more and more. And it was fun because Robert, who's the fastest memer in the West, created this meme for me of the fire breathing dragon, and he put my name on it. So that was a fun memory.
Here's a suggestion for you.
Thank you. Yes.
Go and get some 151 rum. It's very potent, very strong in rum. Have a fire off into the distance and go.
Oh,
blow
hell
it into
yeah.
it. There have been fire breathers since the dawn of time.
Right? Okay.
Go learn it. Pick it up as
Okay.
an artistic skill.
Yeah, I would love that. What did you
Okay.
call the rum? 151? Because it's like
151 rum. Yeah.
that means 151% proof. Is that what that means?
It's 192 proof, actually. Or it's 98 proof, technically. When you convert it over, it's 98%. No.
Holy shit.
94% alcohol. Yeah.
Okay. That
Go
sounds
watch
really
YouTube videos on fire breathing. Go do a fire breathing class. Seriously.
Yeah.
What stopped
yeah,
you? Whatever. Am I the grandmaster of the obvious? You can go and learn fire breathing. And your entire
indeed are the
history of wanting to
grandmaster.
breathe fire. I want to go learn fire breathing.
Yes, that is
To me,
obvious to me now. Thank you.
This is pure dragon humor coming out right now.
Right?
You called to hear that from the dragon. Dummy, go breathe fire
Right,
then.
it's like, golly, why didn't I think of that?
Exactly. Why didn't you think of it over all the years?
Awesome.
Well, next time you call us, you're gonna do your video and you're gonna be a fire breather, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Indeed.
All right. Hi, darling. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks.
So we're going to give Jenny a signal to unmute.
Oh, come on, 50s house voice.
We're going to give
Jenny.
you a signal to unmute, Jenny.
There you go.
There you go.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Jenny. Where are you calling from?
From Gatineau, Quebec, right across from Ottawa.
Gatineau, Quebec. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
What did you think so far of today's show?
Super exciting. I've been waiting for this since you guys started your show. So have lots of questions.
Where do you want to start?
Good.
Can a dragon egg be hidden in a human?
Yes.
Okay. I think this has happened to me. And what does that mean necessarily?
Say that again. I switched devices. Sorry.
Oh, because I did a hypnosis and we found a dragon egg in my root chakra. And I was kind of wondering if you can elaborate on that. What it is.
So when a dragon egg is in your root chakra, it's meant to be a part of the greater teacher you into self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery. That means the challenges of your particular life need a self-mastery teacher in your foundation. And that having it in your foundation means once you get past foundation building and you're ready to be the architect of your life, you'll have a lot more capacity to do in a grand scale.
And what would that grand scale look like to me?
Whatever your free will wanted it to be.
Okay, right. And like, can a dragon rider also be a dragon?
Yes.
Okay, so it can be both.
Yes, simultaneously.
So would that be my case?
No, as I just said, it was specifically for you to learn self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery this lifetime at a foundational layer, so that once you became a master at self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery and healed your general traumas, you would be able to function as a grand architect, meaning whatever you had in front of you, you would be able to magically create for yourself because you've already done the mastery journey.
Right. Okay. That's pretty crazy. So my other question is, I've had a lot of dragon experiences where it came to like during ayahuasca, all my dragon merged together, and then I became a sun, and then I talked to another sun, and then it said, it doesn't matter the titles, we're all born the same, we're all created the same. So who is that? Who's the sun? Is that like my higher self? Or?
It was technically you.
I'm understanding what that is. It was me. Okay.
Who is going to be a sun in an ancient future, but it had to go back to a point in your evolution where you were still unaware of your greater potentials, and it's why you have a dragon egg in you now, so that self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-master are such a fundamental part of you, lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, so that the journey into becoming the high-level responsibility from your point, your planet, to the point that you become a sun, because you're going to be functioning with hundreds of trillions of souls, directing them where they're going to go for their perfect and unique experience with a celestial source.
Right. So all my dragons are me in a sense, right? That's what I feel like they are to me. Like I did your colonic light language, and then like because I was battling whether I was a dragon, a sun, or this or that. And then I did the colonic, and then it was funny when you sent cutting the cords, my water dragon came in and kind of send like thousands of samurais, and they're cutting all the cords inside my intestines. Then the next morning I realized like all these dragons, the sun, the planets, whatever, was me, right? And like that multi-dimensional layer, I'm kind of tapping into all of it all at the same time. But it was like
it is you. It is you.
Right.
Now that you know it, what are you going to do with it?
I have no idea.
That's what you got to figure out.
Right.
And that's why there's an egg inside you. It's to show you the infinite potentials, that this lifetime right now, you have infinite potentials manifested in you, and it requires free-willed co-creation with the divine to make it work. And all you have to do is tap into commitment, courage, and self-mastery to make it work. And you got to believe in yourself, not beat yourself up, not let the internal programs win.
Right. Yeah. The colonic helped me with that one for sure. Now, as for what was my other question? Oh shoot, it slipped my mind. Yeah, like is the egg like a portal for other dragon energy to come through me, or?
No, the egg is an egg.
Okay. And then
but it is infinite potentials too.
Right. Okay. Right.
So
and
it's
then,
not
like,
limited at all.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's so hard to wrap my mind around all of this. And then also, what was I gonna say? The egg, and then there was, sorry, I'm feeling really hot right now. What was it? The egg, and I don't know what to do with it, right?
What to do with it?
Yeah.
What legacy do you want to leave for the world that says, I was here, I helped, I did something,
right,
to the future generations that may be you incarnating? What legacy do you want to leave to the world for the next 200 years?
Shit. Okay. Well, Well, you kind of helped me out with that reading last time, so kind of have an idea where I'm going. Right.
Mhm.
And you have infinite potentials in you,
Right.
which means your level of responsibility is what?
I don't know, to leave an impact, I guess. Like
Your
leave my
level of
legacy.
your level of responsibility is equal to your level of awareness right now. And as you
Okay.
grow your awareness, you grow your responsibilities. And as you
Right.
grow your awareness of why this dragon egg is there, to make sure infinite potentials are in you, you have to determine through strategy, what do I want to do? What do I want to be committed and courageous to do? That is
Right.
maybe beyond my ability to understand now, but if I begin working towards it, I can piece by piece figure it out.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Any hints to how I can do that? Just keep doing what I'm
Mastery,
doing.
self-nurturing.
Self-esteem,
Yeah.
self-healing, self-nurturing, self-mastery.
Okay.
Take up a few disciplines and just practice them, and things will evolve, and they'll open up.
And getting off instant gratification.
Yeah, you'll figure it
Getting out of curiosity learning.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been drawing my dragons every day. So
Good.
yeah. So
Andrew, would that sun meditation help Jenny, bearing in mind where her egg is? You know, where you pull the sun down and create a red ball?
Sure, it would, but it's still about her manifesting in this physical reality the infinite potentials. So she's got to do it. It's less etheric work, less out there work, and here work now. Boots on the ground work.
it's on the ground. Okay.
Boots on the ground work. Hands-on stuff you create. Even if
Right.
it's mind stuff you're creating it here in the now,
Right.
so that it has a lasting legacy to the future.
Right. I found a baby dragon in the astral, and you know how I don't know if you remember when you gave me my reading that you said to go meet my dragon and go in the astral and go get clients for my spiritual journey.
Mhm.
It was kind of similar, but it was a little bit different. It was like I found a baby dragon that was inside of an alligator, and I brought it into what I call my inner realm world, or it could be actually my world at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? Do I go in the astral, go find some dragons, or?
No, it means a dragon gave you the perception that it was a baby.
Okay.
And you, out of honest reception, took it into your realm to nurture it and showed it love, strength, and power so that it could grow in your realm, because it's still in the egg format. It is not limited to the egg. It just showed you a youthful energy that needed a protective energy over it and a growing energy, so that you could harvest and foster that within yourself.
Okay. Yeah, so much to digest right now. Oh my goodness. So like, any other advice that I should do, some homework, or?
At this particular point, you have to take self-mastery to new words you have not defined to yourself before, and challenge your internal programs that haven't mastered self-mastery yet.
Right.
Okay? And why are you challenging yourself by not mastering self-mastery?
I'm tired. So exhausted lately. Is there?
Well, I'm
Yeah, I
exhausted.
know.
Well. You want my schedule?
I don't know. It feels like I've gone through like a whole like reboot in my nervous system lately. I don't know. Maybe
You did.
Yeah. Okay.
You did.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what?
Well, I feel like my energies are coming back. So now I feel
They
like
are back. They are back. You're still limiting yourself, thinking you need to recharge through this when you have an infinite potential inside you.
Right.
You revert to the tortoise to win the race too often. The rabbit does win the race quite often. 80% of the time, the rabbit wins the race.
Right.
Stop slowing yourself down and go win a whole bunch of races is what I'm telling you.
Right. Get off my ass, basically.
Literally, get off your ass. Pull that thumb out.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know what else to ask. That's just like mind blowing. Anything else? Any like?
Nope. That's it.
Nope.
That's all you get.
That's all I get. Okay,
That's all
so
you
next
get.
time I'll get off my ass and then do some progress.
Pull the
and then
thumb
I'll
out.
call back in.
Pull the thumb out. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you. You answered pretty much all my questions.
And she froze right there. That's fucking funny.
I was still doubting. What's that?
You froze right as you were asking that last part. It was really funny. That's dragon comedy right there.
Frozen again.
Yep. It's not going to let you ask it. Nope. Got to learn on your own.
It was great.
Hi, Jenny. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
And I go go pick the next call. I have to laugh at this. Anybody anyone want my schedule? Everyone goes quiet. No soup for you. All right, guys, pick the next caller.
Matty, do you want to pick
Flick
with
through.
a smooth voice?
Yes. Okay. Let's get Danny on. Danny Sosa.
His head's not up.
Oh, is it not? Oh, yeah, of course.
I can
I
only
was just-
see three hands.
Okay, here we go.
Matthew.
Oh, here we go. Right. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll just pick Sarkis.
Sarkis, are you there?
This is really funny.
There we go.
You made it.
Yeah, I made it.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. What do you think of the show so far?
Awesome, amazing. Anything with dragons, I will show up.
So what did you want? What kind of questions did you want to ask?
Well, let's see. I have different things in mind. The first thing is in regard to the ascension. I think it was supposed to happen around December last year, but I just want to get your thought. Has it happened yet, or still
Happened
coming
in
through?
August 2014.
Okay, that's the event, right?
Yes, you missed it.
Okay.
But
So,
at any
I-
moment in time, you can go back and
Yeah.
re-experience it through self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery.
Interesting. So I
And
feel like there's
I
a
have
lot.
stated this on hundreds of shows, and it's ironic how even the most persistent listeners gloss over it.
My bad.
It's okay. It's okay. It's part of the greater challenging of the awakening and the remembering is no matter how many clues this asshole gives you, you're gonna miss some. Okay.
So I think
Back in 2014, when I'm saying the event happened, nobody like, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. 8 years later, happened already. Now what? You missed it.
now it's time to work and work hard. No, I don't
Exactly. Work and work hard.
Yeah. But I do feel like something is cooking. And I just wanna ask you, what are the new group of dragons that are kind of around right now and working?
You mean the millennial dragons?
Yeah. You know, what are their group they're coming from? Like, if you have a name or something.
There's no really way to give them name and identity that makes sense in English. Let me try.
Okay.
Do you remember watching TV in the early 90s? Everything was set and wrote, nothing ever changed. And then
Yeah.
TV shows like A-Team came out, radically different. And then MacGyver. And they started letting other shows in and other shows and other shows. We're now beginning to see that in the millennial dragons, where they're letting in a lot more unique perspectives simply because it's time to overload the system with as many unique perspectives as possible, to outcreate it.
Okay.
And that's what the younger generations of dragons are coming in.
Okay.
And
Do
the
you
boomer
at
dragon
least-
and the boomer dragons are having a tough time with that. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions, sir?
I kind of really want to. I'm not sure if you can kind of help me pinpoint what part of the galaxy maybe they're from. I can kind of know what they're doing or what they're
Dragons,
about to do.
they're from all different
yes.
places. They're born on planets, and dragons here are born on Earth. They're not from a dragon homeworld. There's no such thing. This world is their homeworld. Hundreds of other worlds are their home. Wherever there's a celestial source that's spawning dragons is their homeworld. And when a celestial source dies and the dragons have no homeworld, they often become refugees that make it to other worlds that are then accepted into that new world.
If a celestial mind doesn't spawn dragons, they still function with dragons, or are there some that don't?
No, they all do.
They all do.
It's part of the fundamentals makeup of the galaxy and universe.
They
Some of
also-
them just don't look like dragons, or are they called dragons? They're something completely different in that particular culture. It's
Right.
what we identify as dragons. But every celestial source does that. It's how you keep the celestial commerce market moving.
Sense.
Would you also say that dragons are the highest representation of sentient?
No. There's many other higher representations of sentience.
And what, for example?
Celestial minds as well.
So you don't have to become a celestial mind or a celestial source. Example, in between the space between solar systems are plasma winds. That's consciousness. And you could become a plasma consciousness that just travels in between all the spaces of spaces and have a very unique experience. You don't need to form density reality that has seed and egg or infant technology. You can do it all energetically. I talked about galactic nurseries. Those are also different forms of growth in celestial minds that don't need a physical world or a density manifest.
Interesting. I've actually run into a negative expression of a cloud. So yeah, it's interesting. So that was a celestial mind itself.
No, it was probably a celestial source that didn't need to be a planet that experienced some form of very negative spatial travel that pissed it off. Like something used a dirty dimensional drive around it and it altered its form, and it's now hunting them down and trying to hunt and kill.
Yeah,
Which
it was
is the
angry.
worst thing to have on your tail.
Yeah, it was
let me
angry.
tell you.
I've had one of them in my field.
All right, Sarkis, thanks for calling in. You
Thanks,
guys
brother.
want to take,
Thank you so much.
take another caller. Pick the next caller.
So we're giving you the signal to unmute Trent and Amanda.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Howdy, howdy, ho.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
Howdy, howdy, ho.
Howdy, ho. Are you feeling getting your dragon on?
Yes, I am. So Dale mentioned Genghis Khan. I'd like to know more about him, his relation to dragon, and how he helped humanity evolve. I believe he was a time
Go
right?
watch the first dragon webinar. We'll answer all those questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know here, same thing. Go watch the dragon webinar.
Go watch the dragon webinar.
There's a lot there.
I can't.
Just
They're
Nice
talking
try,
summing up
Trent.
3 hours of material in one statement.
Cleaning up karmic pollution.
Yes.
and going
In the,
around.
It's actually
all
the second
common
dragon
friends.
webinar that I talk about. I'm sorry. First dragon webinar was more of an introduction to what dragons are. But I highly recommend you guys watch all of them.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Look it up, baby.
Yep.
So the dragon revocation you were talking about, was that the disentangled winds, or is there another one?
No, the dragon revocation is the dragon revocation.
Okay.
The disentangled winds is a different one. That's disentangled winds.
Okay.
Is it?
Yes.
That's for targeted individuals, I think, isn't it? Disentangled winds.
Yes.
All right. So I don't really have any questions. Laura was mentioning something about light language. So I was thinking that we could all do a little bit of light language and
Nope.
maybe no.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
On the light
Nope.
language.
Nope.
He's being
Yeah.
very firm today, Trent.
Now
Saving
ask
that for the
why.
light
Now be
language
a
show.
good light worker.
Fuck.
Now now be a nice light worker and ask why.
Why, Andrew?
The Galactic Historian. Why?
Why the Galactic Historian?
Mhm, that's a good question that you actually asked it. We have not reached high enough frequency for that to happen yet. As a collective of personalities, individual, and a collective of us all listening, past, present, and future.
That makes a lot of sense.
I was
Dragon-
really
not
about
Dragon
pushed-
just farted
We
then.
have not pushed the envelopes, and the dragons are like, nope, not until they raise that frequency a little bit more.
Your time will come, baby.
All
That's
right,
not just to
so-
you. That's the collective, including me here too. Okay, we haven't pushed the envelope of high frequency yet. Therefore, they're going to shut their light language ass up.
Okay. So what can we do to push the envelope?
Self-healing, self-nurturing, and self-mastery. Commitment, courage, and discipline. Equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order is a breakaway, unique civilization of one. That is a code to take it on board.
Same thing you've been preaching this whole time.
Correct.
Do the work, people,
The bread and butter. of the
including
teaching.
myself.
Including me too. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I push
Now-
it for me? Sure, but it'll be for me. It won't be for you.
Yeah. I like how Maddie was saying he got some of those dragon hands on him in the bathtub. Let's hear about that.
He
They
got a
came to you
dragon.
during
He,
your
dragon gro-
self-nurturing
he got a
process.
dragon groping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a dragon tickle.
Dragon happy ending.
Bobby grapes.
It left a mark on me, man. It did. It marks me. It marked almost like a tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah. They should make a song like that. Leave your mark on my heart like a tattoo. It's a bad joke.
There you go. There's your cue, Trent.
It's already a song. It was-
You do the song. All right.
Do a song about the
Sorry.
dragon and Matty in the bath. That's just homework.
So I don't really have any questions. You guys have any questions for us?
Nope.
All right, so no Genghis Khan, no light language. I guess my job here is done.
We gotta go watch some more Andrew Dragon videos.
More self-nurturing. I just ordered like 30 pounds of Epsom salt, so get myself
Lots of
nurtured.
self-care on the way.
There you go.
We've been doing bathtub alchemy, where we program the waters of the bath with like revocation, sol fuego frequencies, lights
Yeah.
for like 30
Good work.
minutes before we go in, and
Yep.
then we go in, have the essential oils
Got
in
the
there.
lights going and everything.
Achieve some high
check
magic
out.
that way, man. But just be careful.
Mm.
Huh?
Yeah, don't let your dragon pee in it.
No, actually, you're supposed to pee in it too yourself. It increases the frequencies.
Yeah, is that true? Are you supposed to pee in the tub?
I told her to do that. And she's
I
like,
was like,
ew.
nah,
I'm like, I'm
okay.
telling you, it's going to get you there.
Well, I have some yellow snow for you to eat.
I'm not eating it.
It's a snow cone, really.
Is it vegan? I wouldn't say it is from the
It's
body.
vegan. Yeah, it's technically vegan.
It'll activate
can
your
trust
solar
him.
plexus.
In 2013, everyone was drinking, and 2014, everyone was drinking distilled water and drinking their piss, weren't they?
Yes, everybody was doing urine
Yeah.
therapy. Actually, it started in late 2012. The urine therapy hit the market.
Was it 2012? Right.
Yeah.
Everyone was doing it.
Yep.
I drank my pee before. I'm not proud of it. It was during the medical journey. It wasn't just like an average day. It was.
I want some lemonade.
Were you
Not
hiking
very
out in the
lemony.
desert and did you get lost?
Not
Is that what
very
you're trying to
lemony.
say?
I've actually done it as well, Trent.
I was recycling mustimol.
Yeah, I was doing it with Amanita muscaria. You're supposed to recycle.
That's
urine.
exactly what I did.
Yeah, it was not nice.
It set me over the fucking edge for like a week.
It was yuck.
straight.
Never doing that again.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought actually, but I was already gone at that point.
Oh.
I don't know where the chart. Oh, maybe down there.
Yes.
I would just sit here.
So we've gone from dragons to drinking piss.
Yes. And now you want to know why they said no to light language.
No, this is the result of no light language. We would have never talked about piss if we did it. This
Anyways,
is because
guys,
we have nothing else to talk about.
Now you have plenty to talk about, but it's not self-healing, self-mastery, self-mastery, equal co-creation, non-competition, hierarchy, non-hierarchy. Welcome, break of a unique civilization of one as a code embedded in and expressed through your life force.
Yes.
Biatch.
Well, I do recommend Biatch, the bathwater outfit, for anybody who wants to increase their self-nurturing and self-healing journey.
How much piss do you put in the bath, Trent?
Before you do it,
I guess it depends
Santo.
on how much you drank that day, Dale.
Eat some
Maddie was
asparagus.
saying something about be careful about the bathwater alchemy. What was you saying, Maddie?
well, it's just high magic, and if you can find ways to raise your frequency before you go in there, like sex is a great way to do it, or masturbation, raise your frequency, and then lots of prayer and directed light into the water. When you get into it, I don't know how to express it. You go into a creative state that allows you to break that barrier between you and the unseen world. That's the best way I can describe it. It's almost like a technology. You're getting it like a piece of technology, but it can go awry.
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess your intentions have to be in the right place before you do that.
You don't want to light worker it up. That's what I'm saying. Definitely not. Don't just be reaching out to everyone and anyone.
Yeah. Don't do your best at 11.
Yeah.
We do it for self.
Go ahead.
I just said we do it for self-healing purposes.
Great.
But thank you for having me on, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to let you guys go. We got one more caller,
Good to
Joni, to get to next.
One option.
Joni, are you there?
Hello. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
where are you calling from?
Okay. Unable to start the video. I wanted to show the video, but I guess that's weird. Okay, here was my video. Can you see my video?
Yes, we can.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yes.
I am calling from Biloxi, Mississippi, and I'm actually from Canada. So when I heard Jenny from Quebec, bonjour, I'm French. So yeah. Okay, so dragon has been like something that it was fartsy for me, for like it was just like something that didn't exist in my world. And so all of a sudden I hear dragons everywhere and I'm like, what is this about dragons? And so anyways, I'm happy that you're talking about it, because I think I'm gonna buy some tarot cards too about dragons, and but I'm curious about how they leave their body. Like, do they resurrect? Are they like a Christ where they could kind of resurrect and be transformed somewhere else in a different dimension?
They don't need bodies to
They
begin
don't.
with.
Okay.
They use it whenever they need something to perceive a body. They are not limited in form.
So they could just become whatever form they want to be?
Yes, they have complete control over all their holographic perception. So if a dragon was standing in the room and there's 1,000 people in the room, it can control every perception of every person in the room of what it would see. It could appear different to every single one. And the same thing with millions or billions or trillions.
Cool.
Wow. So, I mean, because you speak their language and do they say, okay, like, you know, when they're around you, like you feel
Not
their
always.
presence?
Sometimes they're sneaky as fuck. Okay. It's very sneaky. Very, very, very sneaky. They don't want to be known when they're in there. Do I have early warnings, dragon early warning systems? You trickster in the midst? Yes. Does it always work? No. And a lot of times they just want to test to see if it works. Like in my particular scenario. Okay.
So have you ever felt them sneak your blanket out of your body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Many times. I've luring me with song, dance, drink, long legs. I mean, everything. It's all about come and play with us, or we've got work to do, or we got a mission to do, or we're bored. Give me something to do. All sorts of stuff that happens in my particular perception. I've been on the self-mastery journey for so long, they accept that where I'm at is something that they can regularly work with. And anybody who achieves high level of self-mastery, dragons have worked with you to get there. So I'm a long-term investment for many of them because I'm a boot on the ground. And because I'm a boot on the ground, it means we can change perceptions here. And when we can change perceptions here, we can break the myths that destroy the truth of perceptions and introduce dragons to humanity, not as lizard people who breathe fire, as true celestial beings on the path to greater awakening, who understand free will at the celestial source and are here to be our language teachers. That's their main job, is to teach everyone the 1 million letter celestial alphabet so that you have a direct contact to the celestial source and don't need a medium.
So beautiful. I mean, because I'm a dancer and I always feel like, you know, I wanted to perform on stage, but then I feel like, no, I feel like I'm performing for something else, somewhere else,
Sure.
you know. So
we are many of their television shows. We are their telenovela. We are their soap opera. We are their lost TV show. What are they going to do next? Tune in for the next episode. Okay. Do they binge watch this? Yes, they do. And then they forget about us for a while until we do something that turns on their dragon pager. Oh shit, they're in self-mastery. I got to go check them out. All right, they're not really doing shit. They're light working it.
and I love music. So recently I just finished a course on ecstatic dance DJ. And it's so funny because I'm like this, playing with the chakras, and you know, and then now all of a sudden when you were talking to me, it said, no, you're a dragon jockey. So it's just like, what? They are playful.
Have you seen the Dragon Revocation?
No, and that's why I just wrote it down, because I'm like, no, like I've seen, like I've been to all your stuff, but that one for some reason I missed it. You know, now I'm happy that I've been on this channel.
Someone put it in the chat room for her to download, because we are going to have her do it live now, and everyone gets to see a very unique first-person perspective.
Oh boy.
Dale or Maddie, you guys have it on your device? I don't have it on this device here.
This is a new one.
I'm just seeing if I can put it up.
Just 1 second.
Before the storm.
It doesn't allow me to drag and drop it into the file here.
Can you do a share screen? No.
We can do a share screen. All right, 1 second here. 1 second here. Let me figure out how to do this. All right, Joel, are you there?
Yes.
1 second. I will give you a link that you can do share screen through. Just 1
Copy
second.
that.
The music for these types of occasions.
Okay. Joel is sending to you in private message. There we go. He'll set it up in just a second here. And actually, I can put it in public for anybody that doesn't have it. Here's the Google Doc link for you to see it too. Or Joni, you could just get to the, either read on the screen or go to the Google Doc, either way, whatever works for you.
Okay. All right, so I see it on the screen.
Can you zoom in a little bit more? There you go. Have you done revocations before?
I've done one of, oh, it's been a while back, I mean, 2 years ago.
So all you got to do is not speak fast and allow yourself to hear your own words. If at any moment you feel you're going to be emotional, cry, simply let it happen. If you find yourself stumbling over words, all it is internal programs that don't want greater growth in you.
Okay. I call to my sacred celestial medicine spread. I call to my dragon guides, those who have been with me since the dawn of all my eternal births. I call to my earth mother who holds celestial medicine space from my sacred dream of dreaming. Aho, mother of all dragon kind of our time space equation. I ask you to come and sit in elder council with the communal I am precognitive workforce. Aho, dragon kind that is service to the 5th and 6th world of universal peace. Come sit in sacred fire with all our I am selves in service to the 5th and 6th worlds of peace.
Okay, scroll up, Joel.
I speak to the spirit of the peacemakers, fire. Aho, friend fire. I ask you to carry my prayer words to the 7 directions of life flow. Aho, friend crow. Guardian of sacred universal law. Sit with us and co-create this message of universal ceremonial peace. Aho, my spirit friends. I honor you in these moments with these words of unity. The time is now, and the power is in eternal, internal, external, self-honesty of peace. We, the living beings of the manifest now, bear the responsibility of acting in the now. We each have an inner responsibility of self-exploration, self-reflection, and self-honesty that defeat habit patterns that create false illumination. Your dragon kind are here to be teachers at new layers and levels of reflection, helping us pull back the membranes of cooperative separation, creating the duality we perceive and believe in. I break all contracts, vows, and agreements with the previous generation's definition of dragons. I break the myths in every time stream, galaxy, and universe I exist on. For the expressed purpose of knowing dragons, this lifetime without other lifetimes interfering with what is in potential just for me during this great dreamtime awakening. Wow. A call to my perception that subtly uses the global narrative as myth. I now deconstruct the myth of the global narrative and how it uses dragons as an enlightenment trap from times of the past, making our perception that we are not worthy. For our ancestors walked with dragons in the physical manifest. I now bring back to sacred, neutral, innocent point of view my perception and perspective of dragons and how they interact with all species kind in the great dreamtime awakening. I now enter the global dreamtime grid within Earth's north and south poles. I use the northern and southern aurora borealis as my dreamtime hub of interconnectivity with the 10,000 past generation and the 10,000 future generations. I summon my dragon celestial spirit guide, who has been with me since the dawn of all of my eternal births within Earth, Mother's space of spaces. So I drive forward the dreamtime hologram of my great dreamtime awakening into self-mastery of my holographic time-space equation as a soul in a soul family within the galactic ascension machine. I co-create a dreamer's handbook for all sentient dreaming kind to connect with their inner dragon teachers. Wow. Today is the day we all walk out on the global narrative, buy into our species legacy hidden within race amnesia. And we'll be our dragon teachers who sit with us in elder council, training the trainers of the 1 million letter celestial alphabet. Wow. So we are no longer chained to a limitation of our expression in our natural languages passed down throughout our history. We become now the unvanquished dream of peace. I set down ceremonial roots with my dragon familiar kind. We have become the friend of friends while on the journey, the unlimited point of view and the now unlimited 0 point of experience. Today, in no time, I co-create my masterful manifestation of vision for my vision of my spirit and its relation to dragonkind, our mediums to the celestial alphabet, our teachers and way showers on light, sound, vibrations. Yes. For every sacred breath I take, I give prayers to the ancients, past, present, and future, for they hold the mantle of responsibility of being ancient. Aho, unseen ancients who have walked this path before. We see your trail markings, telling us the path is not broken, the way is clear now. Aho, ancient ones who walk the stars and beyond today, I set down roots with my celestial traveling guide. I am honored, dragon, to ride with you. We ride to the stars and beyond, to the places not mapped, not seen by awareness-based beingness. Whew. I hold my bonded dragon. We met in the fetus of the great mother's eternal womb. We travel the dreamtime streams of conscious awareness. In dreamtime, we ride to find the unlimited point of view as masterful manifestors of the dream weave. Aho, dragons of the eternal struggle of awareness of all that is, was, or ever will be. Tonight we ride to the ends of the universe as superluminal time-space transversing beings of peace. We are the peacemakers and peacekeepers, riding the waves of time, space, spreading the message we are creating it all. I call to my celestial guides, the dragons of Alcanoir. Come hold sacred space, celestial medium council of oneness. Sit with us in elder council as peacekeepers and peacemakers as we finish the process of karma while accepting our dharmic path of masterful creation of the repetition that yields no illumination and karmic resolution. We bounded with our celestial guardian to break away from the false hologram of light and become the dragon riders of Earth Mother's realms, unchanged from our global narrative of limitation, unbound from our ideologies of sacrifice and martyrdom. Our service is not in sacrifice. It is with joyful, bounding strides we take on this awesome responsibility of being mediums to time. I choose to clear myself deeper than I ever have before. Yes. I call to Mother Ayahuasca to come hold cleansing sacred space. I call to Grandfather San Pedro to hold sacred grandfather space for celestial medium rebirth into higher frequency beingness. I call to brother and sister plant communities holding sacred dream space in Earth's concrete jungles. Come hold modern sacred space with our prayers of ending the eternal struggle. We all become peacekeepers and peacemakers by sitting in the elder council of the self. Here in the temple of the I Am, we evolve our very meaning of life. We accept our multi-dimensional thinking as our legacy and birthright. We accept our roles as source-connected beings on the path to celestial mediumship. I hold my bonded dragon. I ride into the dream time, oceans afar. Ready your wings. Ready your wings. Flex your muscle. Do your dragon yoga. So we may breathe the fire of creation to those still held in iron grip of mediocrity. I hold my dragon brother. This dream time, Eve would ride the seven direction of all that is, was, or ever will be. Through the sea of consciousness into the oceans of awareness. To the eye of the universe we ride, into the realms of other sources, to bring the message of the peacemakers and the peacekeepers. To the aunt and uncle sources, our source ancestors, who hold sacred space for our source. Our whole brother and sister sources, beyond the veil of our source's light, we ride into ever after to greet you as source-connected ancestors on the path of peace, spreading the word we are creating it all. Our whole grandfather, source, and grandmother, source, we greet you with time-honored blessings of source-connected knowingness of all that is, was, or ever will be. We bring to you the gifts of the sacred pipe of peace. We bring to you our grandmother Earth, the sacred shawl of clan mothers, in honor of your holding space for your children of the sources. Aho, great grandfather, storyteller source. We bring you gifts of spirit, our stories of victories, our counting coups over our self-defeating habits, over doubt of our divine source and nature. So you may teach the younger sources what courage is needed to face the void and out-create nothingness with sheer joy of creation. Our whole grandfather storyteller source. Tell us a story we may bring back to Earth Mother's realm. Tell us your wisdom, great-grandfather, storyteller source. Our whole children of Earth, of the great dream time awakening. Let me tell the story. Many eras of light ago, along came a dreamer, dreaming the great dream of peace. This was the first peacemaker of all peacemakers to come. He rode a dragon just like you. His dragon's name was Jehoram. The peacemaker honored no other name for himself other than peacemaker. He spoke of times to come when celestial sources will be at odds with each other and their children will fight each other for meaningless control of infinite space. He told stories of special race of beings who held the title of the unvanquished dream, the Invectus. These dreamers, dreaming the great dream of peace through all time space. Each was source connected and interconnected to all other source of peace. The peacemaker came from the realms of the unvanquished dream of universal peace. He traveled from beyond the galaxies and stars through universal portals yet in creation. He rode his dragon to bring the message of peace to all that is, was, or ever will be in all sources that hold space for you, source-connected beings of awareness, swimming in the sea of universal consciousness. I see you, this very essence, rebirthed into this new creation, reincarnated to repeat the message of peace. Now there is eternal illumination present in this ever-present moment. I honor you, peacemaker, of all peacekeepers yet to come. You are truly the unvanquished dream, reminding us all we are creating it all. Grandfather, source, storyteller, comes closer to the sacred fire, peering into our infinite existence. He blends his interconnectedness with all that is, was, and ever will be. He says to you, children of earth, you are the unvanquished dream of peace. We honor you in all halls of the Akashic Records, teaching other celestial minds what courage is needed to face the void of misperception of all that is, was, and ever will be. Aho, peacemaker, unvanquished great dreamer of peace. We shall tell stories of your journeys to the stars and beyond. They will reach those on the path out of race amnesia and into knowingness that is profound healing. Aho, children of earth, you are our legacy of a future founded and grounded in peace. We ask you to bring love and joy in perfect harmony in order to reach fifth density awareness, to meet and greet our dragon teachers and spirit guides.
Oh, you don't have to read that last part. How did that feel?
I feel like my head's gonna explode. I feel like I'm carrying up, like the crown has opened, cracked. It's just like, oh, so beautiful. Oh, just tear of joy and just like, yes, yes. And hell yes.
Right. Yeah. You had some really, really beautiful energies coming out of you when you were having your aha connective moments with that.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's fair to say you've got a dragon in you.
I feel a victory dance coming.
That's right.
Take it.
You got to make some dragon techno rap. There you go.
Yes. Yoo-hoo. Oh, well, I'm going to need to drink a lot of water right now because I feel like I'm just like on air. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really floating right now.
Yeah.
It's dizziness almost, but good in a good sense. Thank you for
You're
making
so welcome.
this space.
It's why we do it. It's to bring out the new teachings, to get people to advance themselves through self-healing, self-nurturing, self-mastery, and give themselves the gifts of wisdom.
Thank you for your work. And oh my goodness, I am filled with such awesomeness, I guess. And I want to give you a big hug.
Big hug to you too. Okay, big hug to you too.
I love you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And you go out and you dance your dragon dance. Okay.
I will.
You get your dragon dance on. All right.
Oh, thank you.
All right, darling. Thanks for calling in. It was wonderful. You helped a lot of people go into their expansion by watching you expand.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, this is going to come to the end of a show. another fabulous time with the Two Feathers Medicine people. Maddie, any last words you'd like to say?
Really, that put me right under, Andrew. I was gone for a while. Wow.
A lot of people were.
Yeah.
I pick them good, don't I?
Yeah, absolutely. I just let her take me away. Yeah.
See, that's the dragon said, here's your high frequency, bitches.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura, any last words?
Yeah, I really enjoyed you reading that, Joni. That was just amazing. And seeing the change in you there. So thanks very much for coming on and doing that. And thanks everybody for being here. Another great show. Really learned a lot. Thanks,
and
Andrew.
we will be doing Merfolk next week.
Oh, it's going to be exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
Aquatics.
So
Yes,
everybody,
at Assyrians,
dragons this
Wales.
week, Merfolk next week. Dale, any last words?
I just want to say what an incredible show, and from my own expansion as well, and to ask the questions to you, Andrew, and Laura and Matty for being part of it, and everyone on the Zoom room and listening as well. It's an honor. Thank you.
All right.